What do you mean by?
You say it came up for you this weekend. What does that mean?
Oh, just the discussion on, we talk about reading and personal development and reading it on a daily basis. And one of the things that I've said is you can read all the stuff. You can read all the motivational quotes. You can read um, all the books. But if you're not implementing it into your life, what good are they doing? I mean, I know you're learning, but there has to be a time that you change. There has to be a time that that after reading all that stuff and learning from it, that you have to make the change to do it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's exactly right. So if you think about that change, what is required to make the change to actually do it, like you said, what to implement what it is that you've learned? What's required for implementation?
Well, I'm pretty sure the number one thing is your mindset. You have to you have to change your mindset on on what it is. You have to be real to yourself about you have to be real to yourself about what you're, I guess, wanting. You have to be real to yourself about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't you can't want to change something but tell yourself that you don't really do all of that, or you don't really do, I only do it a little bit.
Change is change, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Interestingly enough, when we look at the 6 steps of personal growth and personal development that we walk through, you want to name off those 6 steps? Implementation's kind of in the middle. Do you remember those 6 steps?
Yes. Awareness, commitment, learn, implement, evaluate, repeat.
There you go. Very good. So implement is actually right in the middle of this whole process. And when you think about that, maybe we're not starting quite right. We should talk about awareness first. But I think this is good because what we're looking at is in implementation is the actual getting the first step of the results, right? If we want results like we say we do, then we have to be able and willing to implement something that we've learned. I see way too many people in this industry being, doesn't matter what industry you're in actually, I see a lot of people who learn things but don't implement what is learned, especially in personal development. I know a lot of people who read books. I see a lot of people who go through a lot of different things and they don't implement. Now, here's an interesting thing. I've been going back through John Maxwell's 21 Laws, and I was reading the Law of Influence just this morning, and I thought this was a tremendous example of the 21 laws and implementation. John wrote in the chapter on influence, the law of influence. He wrote in there that a lot of people influence today on social media, on platforms, and this and that. They're called influencers. They're called influencers, which is true. They do influence, everybody influences someone. But the difference maker is, are they creating change? Are they creating change in someone's behavior, someone's actions, someone's results? What are the changes that are being created through the influencers? And when you look at that, that's really it's a tremendous way to measure the implementation of a learned subject. or the implementation of a certain idea. And to me, as I read through that and really thought about the law of influence as John was writing it out, it's like, wow, that's exactly right. Are the people that I'm listening to, the quotes that I'm reading, are they coming from individuals who have actually implemented and created massive change in themselves? And according to John Maxwell, leadership is not what you do for yourself, it's what you do for others. Is the change that they have implemented, is it changing others? Is it changing other people to think differently, to work differently, to act differently? And that's something that I thought was really, really powerful to consider in today's world, is what we're implementing, what we're learning, what we're implementing. Is it creating change? Is it creating the change that moves us to a different level, makes us a better leader, and makes those around us better? I just thought that was something that was kind of interesting when you start thinking about implementation.
Yeah. In our business, it's one of those things, being in leadership and business development, we can provide the tools to everybody. We can give them everything that they need.
Mhm.
But in all actuality, it's not us that's going to change them to fix their situation. They just have to take those tools and implement them. I used to get irritated, and I'm going to bring Grant up again, but I used to get irritated with Grant on his push to sell and sell and sell, but that's what he does and who he is. But the thing is, if you're going to pay that money for it and not implement, that's not on him, that's on you.
Right. That's right.
Same thing with John Maxwell. He has got tons of resources and things, and whether you use it or not, he will not lose sleep over.
That's
That
right.
has to be something internally from you, whether you implement or not. Same thing with ours and our clients and things. We can provide them, show them the way, show them the path, but ultimately it has to be their decision to use it,
That's right.
to implement it into their daily lives.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm glad you brought that up, Rebecca. So here's an interesting learn that I learned yesterday from our John Maxwell team. Because we're club members with John Maxwell, we have the opportunity now to certify our clients, other people in our business, but we can certify individuals within our clients' businesses to be certified coaches. We can now train coaches inside of the businesses that we're working with. So that's anybody listening to this right now, if you want to be a coach inside of your business, and maybe you don't want to hire us as a coach, or maybe you want to be able to do more personal coaching with a bigger group of people and make it more cost effective for you guys, we have an opportunity now to certify people inside of your organization to be qualified coaches. And we can offer that now through Kylan Hunt and Company, or through 3i Life. Through 3i Life now we can offer those types of services. So that's a huge opportunity for you if you want to bring professional coaching into, it's actually called professional high performance coaching into your business. We have that opportunity to bring that to you. So yeah, that's something that, as you mentioned, from our John Maxwell team, we have that option now. Are we going to implement it? Are we going to serve our clients by helping them become professional certified coaches? So again, something that we can definitely offer and we can definitely do. So thought I'd throw that out there, a little advertisement this morning, a little promotion.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. I thought that was really cool. And I was listening to some of the videos just yesterday, and Valerie does a great job of helping us get through that. So, and she's actually part of the certification process So her videos, her training is actually part of it. So it's really, really cool to be able to collaborate. You know, collaboration is currency. So I think it's great to be able to collaborate with our mentors and to bring our mentors right to our business owners' classrooms. So awesome. Okay, well,
Well, I mean, when we talk about implementation, it's not always, it's not like you have to go through Grant Cardone or John Maxwell or any of those programs to learn that stuff. You get on Facebook or TikTok or something, and there's always a motivational quote somewhere in there. And one of them that I always like is, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. I mean, even taking that little step and changing that mindset on things can make a huge difference in the outcome. So it doesn't have to be something like reading a full book for you to be able to implement these little tips and these little nuggets of life. But it can just be a quote or something. But there again, you just have to make that choice. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So even changing something in that aspect. So it doesn't have to be a full-on course or a full book. Just changing a little bit in your mindset every day.
So what are the results of not implementing? What does that look like?
I think the results of not implementing are just.
Did I lose you for a minute there? I think I did.
Well,
so my internet was unstable, so maybe I screwed up here somewhere. But.
No, you're back on now.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so I missed part of that. Can you repeat that? By not implementing, what were you saying, Rebecca?
I said then you stay where you are, wherever that is.
Yeah.
And like I said, some people are happy where they're at, and that's great. That's fine. But if you want to make changes in your life, if you want to grow, even if it's something that you never use, but you just use it personally. I mean, you just personally, but you're not looking at it as, I need to grow for a job or something else, but just implementing it for yourself personally. Making the choice or the decision to be happy in the morning and not grumpy. I mean, it's little things like that.
What do you think it is that people want in their life? If you could say that people want something in their life and they wake up every day and they want more of this one thing, what would that one thing be?
The thing about it is, it's different for everyone.
It is.
But I do think, that people want freedom of time. I think finances come into that. But I also think it being different for everyone, because there's, I don't even know how to say, and I don't want to say it the wrong way.
Just say it. You can always fix it if you say it the wrong way.
Some people are not happy where they're at in their life, but there is somebody else out there that wishes they had that life, whatever it is. There's always somebody out there that wants what you have. And sometimes we don't think about that. And
do you have Ed Milet's book sitting right there?
Yes.
Pick that book up and show it to everybody. The Power of One More. The Power of One More. If you guys have not read that book, you ought to read that book, honestly. And when I ask the question, what's the one thing that everybody wants when they wake up in the morning? The truth of the matter is, I don't know, but they do want something. They want something. Every person in the world wants something better, wants something improved. They want something more, that one more thing, that one thing for everybody out here. It exists. The question is, how are you going to get it? How are you going to get it? And that's what I love about Ed's book. You know, he talks about that one more, the power of one more thing, the power of one more idea, the power of one more phone call, the power of one more dream, the power of one more prayer. Ed Mylett talks about this, and he does such an amazing job of displaying to all of us that read the book the power of one more thing. But the interesting thing is, the whole book, if you read the book from front to back, all the way through, the interesting thing about that book is it has to be implemented. The power of one more means nothing if you don't implement one more time, if you don't learn that one more thing, if you don't wake up in the morning and commit to doing that one more thing, that one commitment to yourself, that one commitment to your next level of growth, that one thing. What are you going to commit to and implement? What are you going to commit to learning? That to me was so powerful in Ed's book, and I've listened to it on audio, read it, and it's just an extremely powerful book. Interestingly enough, though, it's really a repeat of what so many people talk about. John Maxwell, Grant Cardone, Brandon, all of these guys and ladies, they all talk about the same things. And they're all trying to get people to do one thing: implement. Implement. Do you agree with that?
I do. And like you said, implementation takes action, because you can sit and think about it all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Sit and think about the things that you want to implement, but if you don't take the step towards doing it, that's the big part. You have to take action.
Yeah, without the action, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to be different. And that's where the law of attraction, I truly believe that, the law of attraction is a true thing. But there's also two things that exist with the law of attraction. Number one, if the law of attraction is going to work, it works with, number one, the law of action. Action. Action is required for attraction, okay? And number two, intentionality. The law of intentionality has to work together with action. That's your implementation. Intentionally implementing creates the law of attraction. Things begin to attract to you. You attract to you certain things in life that you want, that you need, what you want to be a part of. You attract that when you intentionally create action. That's implementation. That's what creates the law of attraction. And that's where a lot of people get lost in their personal growth process, is they forget the action with intentionality. I truly, truly believe that. All right. Well, this has been exciting. What time? All right. We got about 6 minutes left into this call. I know we have at least one person on the Zoom with us. We got Brittany on here. Brittany, how are you this morning? If you're available to chat.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. What kind
I
of
haven't had enough coffee yet.
Yeah, that's for sure. Britt, what are your thoughts on implementation?
It's key. You've, it, I don't care how much you read or watch or think about, ponder, discuss with other people, whatever. If you don't implement it,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
You know, Brett, I have to, and hopefully I don't step out of line, but I know, you know, for a while your health journey was that you've been working on it. You've been working out and taking them ice baths, which I think you're absolutely insane. Um, but had you not gone through with that and continued on that, you know, you would still be where you were 2 years ago. And you know how different that you feel, that you think, even going through all that, but you had to take those steps, and some of them were some big steps, weren't they? I mean, it wasn't an easy journey, and I think that is kind of a hard part with it, because some of this is internal things that you have to overcome and work on, and those are the hard things. But I see where you are now, and it wasn't an easy thing for you, and at any time you can say, oh, you could have said, man, I'm tired of trying, and I'm tired of doing this, and quit. But it was that continuous telling yourself, I can do this, and work on this, and I see, you know, even talking to you, you can hear the difference, if that makes sense.
Thanks. And yeah, there was probably half a dozen times the last 2 years that I was looking at it, and particularly before we found the thing that finally clicked and brought the pieces together. But the first 18 months was this isn't working, nothing's getting better. Yeah, we've made a few little minor improvements, but like the big things weren't coming in. There's a lot of money spent.
Right.
And that goes for whether it's personal development, business development, health management, or you know, assessing one's health, whatever it is, you're going to spend money. It's, you know, if it's personal development or business development, you're doing books, audiobooks, hopefully going to conferences or trainings, you know, whatever it is. So whatever it is that we're trying to implement, money is going to get spent, or that we think we want to implement. But if you don't implement it, then, and yeah, you have those moments. I've had those moments. We've all had them in personal development stuff, business things. I mean, there was definitely times when I was doing coaching one-on-one with you guys where I'm sitting there going, God dang, you know, just this seems like it's taking forever before the business side of things kick in. But it's in those moments when, if you are honest with yourself and step back and truly review, you're probably not implementing. And that's why it's not working. And that's why it's not coming together, or you've stalled out. And same, this goes with health things too. So yeah, it all comes back to implementing. And if you feel like you're not moving the needle, whatever that is, then be honest with yourself, not critical, but honest, and go, well, am I really implementing in the way that I need to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the, you know, with my daily personal coach that I get the privilege of being with daily, sometimes when he asks the hard questions, it's very difficult for me to answer. It's very hard for me to examine myself and see what it is that I'm not doing. And even with the health thing, I tell myself, oh, you know, a piece of cake isn't going to hurt me. Well, then it's the piece of cake and a burger with the bread isn't going to hurt me. And it's just it's making excuses for yourself. And then when you find yourself that your scale's not moving or you're not feeling better, and you're like, well, why is this not working? And you have to sit back and re-examine yourself. You know, if I'm not getting someplace in our business, and Kylan starts asking the hard questions, it's hard to see yourself as you're not putting your best foot forward all the time. But you have to, like you said, Britt, be honest with yourself and know what you want and where you're going. But you do have to examine yourself.
Yeah. There's one other thing that Brittany, I want to applaud Brittany on, and Brittany, I'm just gonna share a couple of things that I know about you over the last, I'm gonna say the last 5 years, and I want our audience to pay attention to this, because I'm gonna ask you a question at the end of it, and hopefully the audience gets that aha moment. Okay. I know that you and I went through one of our first trainings together. Oh man, probably 8 years ago, or longer now. And since that time, I have watched you expand and grow. Like Rebecca said, expand and grow as a leader, expand and grow as an entrepreneur, as a community leader, you know, getting involved with FFA and all the other things that you're doing. I've seen you do so many things that are really, really awesome. And the interesting thing is, I know just what little bit that I know, and I know you've done personal development that I don't know about, but I know for sure that you have invested in yourself a minimum of $50,000 to $60,000 in the last 5 years or more. And the thing about that investment is it's completely gone if you quit, right? It's completely gone if you quit. And you actually brought that to my attention here a while back, when maybe your second or third year of coaching, and you're like, I can't quit. I'm going to keep going. This all happens in a process. I'm not going to quit. How important, Brittany, is not quitting when you begin to implement, when you commit to doing something? How important is that process of not quitting to make sure you never lose your investment?
It's critical. Yeah, I don't think I really have any other words for it. It's always going to creep up in there. I don't care who you are at any point, because you have a setback or you have something that doesn't quite go like you think it should go.
Mm-hmm.
You have the negative mindset or the scarcity mindset. You and I have chatted about that numerous times and it's scarcity, and you start panicking. Like you said, the $50,000, I'm sure everybody could sit here and go, dang, and I think you're a little high. I don't think it was quite that much, but we'll just use 50,000.
I'm just estimating. It's got to be close.
Well, I'm gonna think about that the rest of the day, but and go, what else could I could have all of my debt taken care of with 50,000 right now and still have some left over. But that's not a growth mindset.
Yeah.
That's a I'm safe mindset, and growth is not always safe.
Right.
And you have to take that risk. So you can't quit, because, and years ago at a horse training clinic, the guy that hosts it talks about, if you take 5 steps forward and you're still not to where you're at, it could be one more step with that horse and you've turned the corner.
Yeah.
And you're finally going down the right path. So we don't know where that corner's at, where we're going to turn, but if you stop going, it could be just one more, it could be just a half a step. Yeah,
3 feet from gold.
Yeah, exactly. It could be 10 more steps, but it's all about depending on where we started. And yeah, 17 years ago in agronomy, or 11 years ago, coming 12 years ago when I started my agronomy business just for part-time, that was 20 steps ago or 30 steps ago.
Yeah.
And there's been corners. I don't think there's been a big corner yet, but I don't think there's supposed to be a big corner that you turn and then you're done. I think you're always supposed to keep taking more steps to the next little corner.
Well, and that's one of the keys is consistency, because if you quit doing the things that you need to be doing, you'll start to go backwards.
Yep.
And it'll slowly, it may be a slow process, it may be slow creeping in, but it will happen. And that's one thing. What was it? Like John Maxwell said the other day with goals, that he doesn't set goals, he sets growth opportunities
plans.
or
Growth
what do you
plans.
say?
He implements growth plans.
Growth plans. Because then he says when he reaches that, then he goes on to the next, because he doesn't just quit. It's a continuous build.
Well,
Yeah,
I just
you can't
wanted to touch on that. I think that's we're got to start being cognitive of people's time. But Brittany, I think that's awesome. Anything else on intentionality or commitment of not quitting?
No, just don't quit.
Don't quit.
It's about the long game, not the short game.
Yeah, it really is. And I love your analogy that you gave on the horses. It might be 5 steps, might be 1 step before you turn a big corner. The interesting thing about a corner is you don't know what's on the other side. You can't see it. You don't see it until you've gone through it. And only then can you really see the corner. And if you quit, you'll turn around before you get there, and your greatest experience is on the other side of the corner.
See, we're so lucky. We don't need a Confucius. We have Kylan.
Whatever.
You never know what's around the corner. You never.
Whatever. Okay. All right. Anybody else have something they want to share? I think we got a couple other people on Zoom with us. And then if not, we'll go ahead and start wrapping up. Okay. Very good. Well, let's start wrapping up, Rebecca. What do you have for final thoughts, and we'll move this on.
Well, with anything, even implementing the small things, it's the key is to just start. You just have to start.
Start, commit. Now let's go through them again. Awareness, commitment, learn, implement. What's next? Evaluate.
Maybe I should start asking you if you know these things.
Evaluate, repeat. I know them very well. I love those 6 steps. Those 6 steps will change your world. So anyway, yes, appreciate everybody that's on here this morning. Appreciate everybody that's making a commitment to yourselves. That's the whole thing about coaching. It's the whole thing about personal growth and development. It's a commitment to you. It's a commitment to you. And I think Brittany said it really, really well. If you're struggling to get the results you're looking for, evaluate your implementation. Evaluate your awareness. Work with your coach. I had one of my coaching clients just this week was so point blank in my face. And they're like, I need this. This is the only thing I need right now. I need this one thing. And when a coaching client comes to a coach and says, I need this one thing right now, that brings such clarity. And the interesting thing about her, when she comes to coaching, she will invest 30, 40 minutes sitting down, thinking, what am I going to talk about? What's my topic? What's the outcome that I want? She does a tremendous job of just sitting down and thinking about the coaching process. So when she comes to a coaching session, she is totally ready, completely ready to get an outcome that she desires. And that's the coaching process. That's the coaching process. If you really want to get amazing outcome, be ready for the process, because that's really what it is. It's a process that makes it happen. So Rebecca, I appreciate you putting this together. I think we will do a series on the personal development series, those 6 steps, and why they're so important. The one that oftentimes gets people is the repeat at the end. They're like, well, that's a no-brainer. Well, it's a lot more than a no-brainer. It's how you go about that repeat process that really, really is important. So, okay, that's all I have. You want to wrap us up, Rebecca, and we'll call it a morning.
Yep. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you Monday, and enjoy the weather.
God bless everybody.
Thanks, guys.